Welcome back to Canonymous. I think people should always question both sides of the aisle. And when things don't add up, us need to call it out. I came across this tweet a while back from Leslie and Lewis. Now, at the first time when I saw it, I didn't really think much of it. I kind of just ignored it. But for some reason, kept popping back up in my face. Thanks, Twitter. It was a repost with a video of South Surrey MP Caroline Finley. Here's the video.
Heading into Justice Committee today in Ottawa to bring on a motion about Robert Pickton. We all know in British Columbia who Robert Pickton is. He was convicted of torturing and murdering 6 women. 20 other charges were stayed. He is in the midst of going before the parole board, and the families are being re-traumatized. We want to stop that. We don't just want to stop crime. We want to stop the re-victimization of those who've been hurt by this heinous murderer, multiple murderer. He's tortured women, he's murdered women. The women of British Columbia and the families of the victims deserve better.
Now, I can understand the frustration and the anger towards something like this, a horrible monster released again to traumatize and terrorize communities. But as all the people who are talking about this should know, he didn't apply, and even if he did, has to be approved and would probably be denied, as during that process your entire background, history, motive, etc. is taken into consideration. On top of that, when he was arrested during the Conservative Party reign. So if they really wanted to stop a monster like that from ever getting the potential for parole, especially seeing how, if I remember correctly, Harper did want to get tough on crime. Now, that doesn't take away from Trudeau's laissez-faire attitude toward crime, but when something like this, meaning his eligibility for parole, happens technically during the Conservative Party's time of power, this is a terrible tweet to tweet out. This is the part where, it really shows me, politicians just being politicians. There are so many other things to get Trudeau on. He's got scandals after scandals. You can even go back to revisit old scandals and bring those back up again. I don't care which ones you pick. But things like this, omitting a lot of truth, to me, is still counted as a lie and shows that, hey, don't forget, it's all still politics and politicians. I think this is a bad move, definitely looks bad in the Conservatives, something that most people aren't really talking about, aren't really pushing, but, you have to look at who's tweeting out on behalf of the Conservative Party and who they're, backing. It's one thing if it's some far off person on the 16th bench or whatever that nobody really knows about, but I wouldn't say Leslie Lewis is nobody in the Conservative Party. Leslie doesn't really talk much in the House, but, her face is still there. She's still constantly around. Now, I'm still planning on voting Conservatives. This didn't steer me away completely, but I would prefer if they steered clear of things like this, easily called out things that just make you look bad. And when you see this, let them know that, because they need to earn your vote with honesty and truth and earn their place even after they win. Next, I want to take a look at the CBC article. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters and counter-protesters demonstrated for hours outside the Toronto area synagogue, hosting a real estate event that marketed property in the occupied West Bank. Whose bright idea was this? What did you think was going to happen, antagonizing people in such a way? Listen, this is not a smart idea. It obviously wasn't going to go down in a relatively civil affair. I don't really understand how it was approved, or just, if this was just a stupid move, or rather, you were trying to piss people off, and therefore that was your ultimate goal, and therefore you succeeded. Realtors and companies participating in the session called the Great Israel Real Estate Event. Listen, I'm for peace. I don't think anybody with half a brain wants to see this war continue and escalate and start pulling in other nations and for more people to die. Honestly, for this one though, I think there should be some legal action taken against the people who set this up. This was clearly to antagonize people. It's one thing if it happens, by accident, but to host your real estate event outside a synagogue to sell what the Palestinians see as their stolen property, bruh. you're just being an asshole at that point. That all being said, I'm getting sick and tired of Canada being the battleground for every Tom, Dick, and Harry other country that's madder than other countries. We have our own issues, and until we can fix those, we shouldn't be allowing these infightings that's really not doing anything. I'm not going to go into it here too much. I did mention this in another video where I kind of went through if Canada could actually do anything to sway Israel's opinion, given how deep the political ties, the trade ties actually are. These political ties go back, like way back. I'm talking about the creation of Israel as a country. The vote Canada was a part of. So, anyways, moving on. The next video I want to take a quick look at is Trudeau going over a part of the Pharmacare Act that the human Gagmeet Singh and Trudeau settled on. I'm pretty sure you all remember that very brief moment where Gagmeet Singh threatened Trudy. I'm gonna stop using the nicknames. I think you all remember that moment where Jagmeet threatened the Liberal Party to end the coalition. I think the NDP party even made a comment about how this was the closest they ever came to ending the coalition. Obviously, no one believed that. Anyways, let's take a listen.
Starting in two specific areas. First is contraceptives. Making sure that women right across this country can choose when they want to start a family, have power over their path, whatever their path is, and not have cost be a barrier to that. We know that affordability of prescription contraception is a real issue in this time of squeezed budgets on just about everything. And being there for women right across the country with this is something this government is committed to. And we're going to roll up our sleeves with the provinces. We're actually basing our approach on the BC model that led on this. But there's lots of work to do to make sure that everyone gets the right coverage right across the country.
And there it is. I'm still a little conflicted on this. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. I could see for and against it. If you're using it for adult reasons and purpose and you should just be paying, then you should just be paying for that. Other people should not be paying for your ability to procreate or not, like your choice of procreation or not. But also there are people that do use it for like health purposes, to help regulate hormones, therefore making it more like a medicine or as some kind of pharmaceutical drug that you could take, making it fair to be covered under the Pharmacare Act. But they also put in IUDs as well. I don't know if IUDs versus the pill are going to make a difference or are better for the health purposes of it. But for the contraception purposes, well then there you go. But so why put that under it in the first place? I don't know. Why not just put the pill, as it will do the same thing, but also can be double as like a health drug. Anyways, where I see IUDs are mostly serving one secular purpose, even if they technically do the other thing too. I mean, like I said, I'm not really for or against pharmacare in itself. I just see more taxpayer money going away. Again, I'm not really too deep into this. I can be for or against it. I'm just trying to see like competent arguments that make sense to me about whether or not I should be on one side or the other. All I really see in the Pharmacare Act is more taxpayer money going away. Nothing new for the libs, but my major concerns aren't with people who can't afford their, diabetes medication. It's housing, it's food, it's crime, it's drug. These are the policies that they've completely bastardized, and I really take issue with. And though I don't really like the idea of more and more social programs causing more and more taxes, I'm really putting this on the back burner as a real issue of the time right now. But thought I'd bring it up as this aspect of it, the contraception part, is something that I'm still fighting with how to feel about it one way or the other, because it isn't just men, it's also women who don't use these products who would also be paying for it, but perhaps they don't care as long as it helps out other women. I don't know. So I would like to hear if anybody has any comments on that. Please comment down below. But that's about all I got for today. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more.